Empire instant. The same did the Muslims did the same thing. I mean, the Mongols did the same thing. I don't know what your point is. So basically, Christians need to take it, I guess, right? You need to come up with something better than that. Amber, he looks like a cynical, but he's not lying. That was my point. Yeah, he's not lying. Yeah, that's how clever narcissists like Fuentes. Narcissists, I would not diagnose Nick Fuentes of such. The Bible was created from scroll written centuries apart by mostly anonymous author. That's a lie.
It's an important part
That's a lie. Literally, the authors are literally in the book, bro. That's why the first name of these. That's the main. Am I correct here, chat? The names of the books are basically the authors.
My monologue last week, and I said this last week. A lot of people have criticized me since. It's kind of shocking. Many people praised me for sort of.
If you think you think you're gonna use shame to shame a Christian like me, a Catholic like me, you're in the wrong spot, buddy. The same thing that Muslims did to just conquer the Christian land, also the Buddhists did as well. A lot of these people did it as well. Hey man, we're gonna do the same thing at this point. We're not gonna allow the Muslims and just Buddhist empires to just take over. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that has to do with your argument. Yeah. So now let me ask you, answer this question for me. Back in the Crusades, back in the Middle Ages, should we allow simply, especially in Spain, should we allow just simply the Muslims just basically conquer all Europe and don't do anything? Can Christian have the authority or even the right to defend themselves? I think it's just this point that they just want Christians to simply just bend down. No Semitic. I don't know what that means. Not technically, that's the tradition, but there's isn't evident the name authors are the author of the gospel, but that doesn't mean that the content is true. Yeah, the content is true. Listen, if the content of the Bible didn't work, right, it will not even hold the Western society for so long, guys.
Putting our differences aside, right. And
you can see all the societies, and all societies have crumbled through different religions.
Saying nice things about Charlie Kirk. Other people said, well,
guys, you also can just hit the super chat. That'll be good as well for the show.
You know, you didn't like him. Isn't it cowardly to not attack him now that he's dead or something? But I genuinely do mean it, that seeing how he has touched so many lives, and sadly, you never realize that until someone's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I have watched politics for decades, including the assassination of Kennedy. I don't know. So, what's the argument there?
And there's something
Did I believe you? Did I just simply believe you?
Breaking about that all by itself, isn't there? We all had feelings about Charlie Kirk and his work. He had feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never know. I hope he knows, but since he has died, he will never know.
Yeah, that's by spirit.
I hope he sees looking down from heaven just how much love there was for him, just how many people he touched. And now that he's passed, I've seen it. And I'm a witness to it. And that is real. So I think that out of this horrific tragedy, something that, like I said last week, it was the unthinkable.
Mm-hmm.
I can't shake it. What I felt on Wednesday, it was like a nightmare. That's the only thing I can compare it to. It had the exact same texture, the exact same feeling that you have after you wake up from a horrific nightmare.
Not fun.
It's been a short time, but I hope you feel similarly. I feel a lot better today than I did last week. I feel a lot better. And my faith in humanity has been restored somewhat based on what we saw and what we did not see in the past 5 days. So I just have to open with that. It's important sometimes to look at the good also. Such a horrific evil, but the story of our religion and frankly, the story.
Yeah, I understand, Amber, and I'm not here to just defend him, right? Because he's not here to defend himself. But I watched a lot of streamers that they mostly all of them, they do that. They if their fans goes against what they say or what they believe, they just disagree with them. I mean, it's very typical. I'm just disagreeing with some of you guys. Well, you know, It's very difficult. Even though that's your audience, it doesn't mean that you're gonna just agree with your audience 100%. Sometimes you have to just be a strong opinionated when it comes down to stuff like this. There's nothing wrong with that.
Of our world is a fallenness and evil that is redeemed by love. That's actually the beauty, and on some level, that is actually the ultimate meaning of our religion.
Mm-hmm. Salvation.
Which is a victory snatched from the jaws of defeat. Which is a redemption from evil, from brokenness, which is even greater than the original position. It's the fruit being put back on the tree. It's the repairing of the world, the healing of the world through the sacrifice. And so I am actually touched by the outpouring of support, and I didn't expect that. And I think a lot of people didn't expect that. Certainly people that are not into politics, people that are more on the outside. Mm-hmm. So it's been very reassuring. But anyway, that's just a little note about maybe an epilogue about the show from Thursday. But tonight I do want to move on. I want to talk about some more topical things. You know, of course, Thursday I spent the entire show talking about the state of the country and giving a very general take on the entire tragedy. This is something that has rocked the country to its core. And it's difficult to say at this point what the ramifications will be, how far-reaching it will be, if there will be chain reaction. And in particular, everybody is on full alert about political violence and the polarization, the tit for tat, the potential for reprisal. I don't think we're out of the woods on that just yet. But tonight, I want to talk in much more detail about the actual killing. I think it's appropriate at this point, and I think it's worth talking about because, of course, we talked all about this on Thursday, and much has been said. So much has been said. So many takes and positions and plans, ideas. And what sticks out in my mind...
You mean Nick Fuentes, if he got into power, he would rule the United States with the iron fist. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. Based on what? Not conservative Christian Republican. I mean, to be honest, I'm more right-wing. Let me tell you this. I'm way more right-wing than Nick Fuentes. I'm way more right-wing than with Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to get into details. And it's because I think at this point, the concept of the Constitution has been thrown out of the window. We don't have any... Really, if you think about it, they're using the Constitution even against us. The security's up. Yeah, the security's up as well. Yeah. The concept of the Constitution has been used against us. And we can say now with Ilhan Omar, the situation with her, how is it that a person like her is in Congress? Was not even born in the United States. She still holds ties to Somalia for some reason. And then we don't know when she got her citizenship. Allegedly, she probably got it because she married her own brother. Allegedly. I mean, how is it that you have a constitution that allows things like that to happen? Allow people to just move from a different country, avoid assimilation, and they just take places and just conquer them. And we're supposed to just go, the constitutions allow it. How is it?
And about all of it, for all...
Hush, bro. Yeah, don't. Hey, you're telling me to shut up in my show, Ned. This is my show. You don't tell me what to do. You know what? I'm gonna put you in time out, bro. Bye.
All this talk about civil war, for all this talk about national divorce,
you don't tell me to shut up.
And a conflict, a war of all against all in America. We still don't even know who fired the shot. Isn't that sort of interesting? One shot, one lethal shot rings out in Utah, taking the life of Charlie Kirk, and we think we know who fired it, but we're not sure. And like the American Revolution or like the Civil War, no one is really quite sure who fired the first shot.
Mm-hmm.
And people are racing, like I said, to their post to take these positions. Steven Crowder is calling for violence, defensive violence.
Yeah, defensive violence.
Was his clarification. There is a database of 60,000 liberals who celebrated the killing. Some people are blaming the Groypers. Other people are blaming Israel. It has been not a week, and we don't know who fired the shot, and yet everybody is all ready to blame someone else.
Thank you so much,
Everybody already has a narrative constructed, how to interpret this event in the context of other events, and what this conflict in America is shaping up to actually be. We don't even know. And so I'd like to talk a lot about that tonight. We're going to talk about the different culprits.
Like the video, guys.
Tonight, we're going to talk about the prime suspect in the killing, which is a 22-year-old by the name of Tyler Robinson. He is the person of interest in custody who the federal government will be charging any day now. State of Utah is already...
I don't know about that, man. You're saying it was Israel? I don't think so.
Already charged him. He has pled not guilty. He is not cooperating. He has not confessed to the authorities. There's a lot of evidence that places him at the scene of the crime. DNA evidence, video, photograph evidence. There are witnesses, but he has not given a confession, so it's not so cut and dry. We'll also talk tonight about the Israel angle. Many people online are speculating that Israel and its allies in the United States had something to do with the killing of Charlie Kirk, that it was a state-sponsored conspiracy involving Israeli intelligence and the American government and maybe other forces to silence Charlie Kirk, and a patsy was created. A left-wing person was elevated to take the blame for some purpose. We'll talk about that theory tonight as well. We'll also talk tonight about the left-wing conspiracy theory, which blames the Groypers. And this might be the most unbelievable one, and that's saying a lot. I've been accused of avoiding the Israeli angle, and I'll just say at the outset, I've done one show since Charlie Kirk was murdered. I think I've put on Twitter maybe a dozen tweets. I have not avoided the subject. Honestly, I didn't think it needed to be addressed because it, frankly, on its face seems ridiculous. But somehow there's an even more ridiculous theory that has surfaced, which is that this anti-fascist, trans chaser, furry, who hated Donald Trump and thought Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, was somehow a Groyper or far-right or a Trump supporter secretly. And we'll talk about that conspiracy theory too. We'll talk about each of them, and I'll evaluate them at
he doesn't. He only have like a Rumble account.
The end of the show.
And then you cannot, he cannot transfer all the content because some of the content is kind of strong, so he probably will get a ban.
And I'll give you a nuanced take. I hate that word typically because I prefer decisiveness and judgment. But it is important to be precise in our analysis and detailed and rigorous. I think people are owed that. I think that part of the problem with this assassination, like with every other tragedy or crisis in the past 10 years, is that nobody trusts the institutions. Nobody trusts the mainstream media. Nobody trusts the FBI. Nobody trusts the government. And to me, that is especially interesting because wasn't the whole conceit of the MAGA movement of the Trump election in 16, 20, and 24, this was supposed to be a remedy?
Amber, you're saying, do you know how easy it is to become racist or anti-Semitic? Because fascists like Nick always have that unique charm, and that they can spot something and then easily twist it into something else. Yeah, I understand your argument. I understand there's always that fear. The problem is that this is where we are right now. You see what I'm saying, Amber? You cannot keep brushing the dust under the rug anymore. At this point, and you have to understand it from what the United States was 20 years ago and what is right now. It's very scary. So you're going to have a lot of facets of this kind of movement just popping left and right. And the one thing you cannot do is put censorship in a lot of these ideologies. You have to confront them. And just extrapolate what is good and just kick what is bad.
For that problem.
I always say politics is like a pendulum. Yeah, but I don't want that pendulum. You know what I'm saying about this? That means that they're going to go back to the comics. I don't want that. I want that the left-wing side of the aisle is today's right wing. That's what I want. You want to talk about the pendulum, just swing the other side. I want the left wing to be Charlie Kirk. Let me put it like that. No way we can just go back to just not knowing what a woman is. We cannot go back to that, guys. We cannot just say the pendulum always swing to the other side. No, we're not playing that. We're not playing that. We're not playing that. Because we're going to go back to trying to define what a woman is. No.
What does it say about the Trump administration? That we are in the second Trump administration after his third election, 10 years into his political career, and people do not have the slightest inclination to trust the government.
Nope.
Even on a matter like this, when a close personal friend and political ally of the president himself and many members of his...
Oh, that is a very good argument. I guess it's more like an Ashkenazi or something like that, Brielle.
His government and a key lieutenant in his movement is dead. Still, nobody trusts the FBI. So you have to leave it to the podcaster.
Donald Trump dangerous? All right. I don't think that he even cares about his Groper support. I think he's just using them. That's all projection, unless you have a better argument to just really go against that. You're not saying anything. I worry about those who cannot see what Nick is doing. I don't know what he's doing. What is it that he's doing? You have to just provide a better argument. I don't know what he's doing. A guy just talking. I don't know.
You have to leave it to Candace Owens, Michael Savage, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, Nick Fuentes, Dave Smith, to go through the evidence. And that's why I think, like I said on Thursday, people like me have a responsibility to tell you the truth. And not only to tell you my opinion, but to rigorously interrogate all the facts, all the angles, give you all the information, the preponderance of the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give you my sense, but I'll leave it to you to draw your own conclusions. So that's what we'll do tonight. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment, and let me know what you think about the show. And with that, we're going to dive in. First, I want to talk about the official story. Full disclosure, I think this is the most likely explanation. And I will lay out the evidence, and I will tell you why. So first, the official story. Question, who killed Charlie Kirk? We do have a person of interest. We do have a suspect that is in custody. As you know, his name is Tyler Robinson. And in the past 5 days...
You're saying, let's be serious. Could you really put all of faith and trust into Nick? Do you really believe in every single thing that he said? No, I don't. And that would be stupid to even do so. But he has ideas. He has voice. And if you are against what he's saying, you have to be very, very, very specific and just go with that point and disagree with him. But just simply by throwing him out of the window because you don't like him, it's not an argument. The thing is that a lot of these ideas need to be confronted. And I believe in freedom of speech when it comes down to political, the political engagement. But you have to be, if you don't like Nick Fuentes, you have to tell me why, instead of just going specifically trying to damage his character.
We've learned a lot about him. We've learned all.
Yeah, he has a lot of George Weber. I haven't found a thing I have disagreed with. Me neither.
Of his information. We've learned about his online habits.
Is this guy's American or Jewish shield. What if I'm a Jewish shield? What's up with that? If you don't know my position, you don't know my politics, shut up.
Learned about his boyfriend, his residence, his family, his collegiate record, academic record, all of it. And this is a story from the Washington Post today. This is about as crystal clear as it gets. I'll read it to you. This is